Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Today is September 21st, the September ASCA Board of Directors conference call. Directors on board. We have Ann, Donna, Jan, Jody, Susan, Jill, David, and Linda, and myself. Carol, Denise, and Liz hopefully will be joining us momentarily. The way we do this is we have. Okay, thank you.
Hello,
the way we do.
Carol.
Carol, I got you. Thank you. So the way we do this is we go around and there are 10 topics that we will address tonight. Each director will have an opportunity to comment. If there is a motion made, the board will address that motion and vote on this tonight. So our first order of business is the Nationals entry fees. Would anybody like to start that discussion? I don't see that this has a particular director. So Ann, would you like to lead off the discussion on the national entry fees?
Sure. So first, a huge thank you to Calla for making that chart. You know, that is what I love more than anything. So I looked through, we had talked previously about raising things $1 or $2 for 2024 to cover the increased compensation for the entry clerk because of all the work that they do. And I looked through and I actually did some research. One of the things especially was the cost of stock runs that we hadn't raised in a while. And I even looked at some premiums from trials just around the country. And the fees are about the same as just a regular trial. And when the confirmation fees and the obedience and the rally fees are upwards of 2 to 3 times of what it costs a normal trial, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities to raise that. So I propose that we raise ducks to $50 a run, sheep to $60 a run, cattle to $70 a run. In addition, the banquet tickets prices have not been changed in a while. I absolutely think they should cover the cost. If they do, great. If we can pad in another $1 or $2 for all the work that the people do, then all the better. And then I also feel that possibly we could raise the catalog price to $40 and the emailed results to $20. So those were the numbers that I looked at. None of those are more than like a $5 or $10 or $5, $10 increase, something like that, because they haven't been raised in a really long time. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Ann. Carol?
So I also looked at those fees. I do think we need to raise fees. I would not be opposed to anything that Ann suggested. I know there's going to be, people will have a little thing to say, but like she said, it was not a lot per item. And so I think it's very much in the realm of reality that things go up and we need to raise them. So I would agree with our numbers. I don't think that's a problem for the stock. So thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Denise, did you join us? Okay. Donna, any comment?
I agree with all of Ann's things. Definitely the banquet has to cover itself. I think it should be even $5 or whatever over what it costs us to help compensate for other banquet expenses. And the stock, I definitely agree. The stock fees are like even going up, they're just barely over what we charge at our regular trials. Like I think you could probably even go up a little bit more on those. Realistically, they should be, nationals cost more than a local trial. It should cost more than a local trial. And then I know we had talked about raising all fees, like maybe $2 to help compensate for the entry clerk. And so I think there should be a across the board fee raised, but then I also think those other things should go up, like Anne suggested.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Jan?
I really don't have much to add. I agree that the stock could be raised, and we need to make sure that we have the buffer that we've talked about on our entry clerk stuff. So if that's $2 or $5 or whatever, but the stock ones definitely are at the prices that we're seeing at trials. And I'm just going to make a comment because I've done tracking. That's why I raised tracking last year. That was way under what was the normal out in the world. And I potentially could even go up from there eventually because of the amount of time and effort to do those events that aren't money makers. So I'm always comparing the prices. So that's all I have to add. I would support Ann and Donna's comments. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Jody?
I would support a $2 to $5 increase in the prices. I agree with that completely. In regards to RV space, tent space, vendors, that kind of thing, more of a breakdown as something as a price of the overall expense of the facility instead of possibly just a flat fee. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Jody. Liz, were you able to join us yet? Okay, Susan?
And I think another area that could be looked at in addition to the banquet, we need to make sure that that welcome reception is covering itself as well. I'm not sure at $15 a plate we're doing that. By the time you take, it depends on your vendor, your caterer, if you need to incorporate the cost of the linens, etc. Because every venue is different on how they charge that. If they're charging for the use of every table, if we have to provide the linens, I think that the welcome reception might be another area that we need to go ahead and bump up another $5 to make sure that we're covering there. And I think that we might want to consider looking at the RV spaces and making it $400 for the circuit instead. Just go ahead and bump it up $20, because within that, most of our facilities that needs to not only cover, and we need to make some money there on those RVs sitting out there, we still have to cover the cost of 2 pump outs with those RV slots. And I support the increases that Ann has already referenced. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Jill?
Nothing to add.
Thank you, Jill. David?
Nothing to add.
Thank you, David. Excuse me, Linda?
I agree with everything that everybody said.
Okay. I also agree that we need to raise these prices a little bit. I'm just wondering, instead of making a motion tonight, would it be better off that we get all of our ducks in a row and look at all of these different avenues and make one motion to approve all of this, so we don't leave anything out tonight? I don't know how everybody feels if you want to make a motion, but I feel like that we might want to just discuss it and then put it together tonight or this week and then come back with a motion. I mean, how does everybody feel, Ann?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a little bit of back and forth, and I can certainly write an email with everything, and we can just like bounce ideas and come to a consensus, because we could be going back and forth forever, and come to a consensus about all the prices that we want to do, and then make a motion.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, Ann. Is the rest of the board okay with that?
Agreed.
I agree.
Agree.
Agreed.
I think the board, there's a consensus that we want to do something. Let's just put it all together, get it on paper, and then let's post it as a motion, put it out to the membership so they have a chance to look at it, and then we can vote on it at our next email cycle. Okay, so next on the agenda, we'll just go ahead and move on. Is the August 2023 Treasury Report, Jan?
Yes. I am looking at the beginning balances, and so that we have those on record, 111,449 and 87 cents. And our ending balance is 91,680 and 81 cents. If we're looking at, we had a big bump in the membership because of all the announcements that went out for our members. And so I'm making sure that I'm using some of those numbers when I'm looking at the budget that I've been working on. Down in the finals things, it's being broken down much more detailed, and it's just reflecting the difference between the finals fees and the finals. And I have done, Sarah did an excellent job of detailing that out. That's in the notes, and I will add that to the online version that the membership can look at. And now I don't remember, there was a couple other questions from board members. Those are also answered. I answered you, plus I include those inside that document. If you look at the finals fees, if we go over to that one, you can notice that we did get the big bump because of the not doing much in June, holding off while they finished all the sanctioning and sending all that in. So the numbers are a little higher, but if you look at the combination of the 2 months, we're sitting in good position for that as well. I believe that's about all I have. Definitely looking better, and our check count, even though is staying up above the 100,000, which it gives us a little more feeling of security, but we are still being very careful with all our payables are being taken care of. And I think that's all I have to report, unless there's somebody else that has an additional question.
Does anybody have a question for Jan? If
I
not, I'll
don't have a
entertain a
question.
I
Oh,
just
hang on,
have
Rick,
one
just one
other
second.
thing. I'll let Susan after. I forgot to mention that I believe we should have a motion that may have possibly we pay on the loan for $5,000 a month, so we don't have to decide each month. So I could actually make that motion that we are paying the $5,000 on the loan, as long as our finances stay the way they are, so that we have a plan for those finances. So if somebody wanted to second that, then we have a plan going forward instead of making a decision month by month.
Susan, would you like to address that?
Sure, we would. Jan, can you please table that motion until we've had the report from the Finance Committee? Because we've come up with a plan there that we'd like to address before we move on that motion.
That's fine.
The other thing that okay, thanks. The other thing I wanted to touch on, you've got a line, not you, there is a line on the profit and loss statement. When you go down to the expenses, there's a line item that says cash discounts, and that is misrecorded. That actually was the credit card payment for the payment that was due in August. So it would have been the activity on the card that was issued in my name when Ray departed. And it could not be paid in any other way than me going to the bank personally to have the money transferred out of the checking account. And Sarah didn't realize exactly what that was. So that $219 and some 79 cents is not a cash discount. And I will make sure that that gets corrected for perpetuity, because that's very misleading there. There is no cash discount. I just wanted to clarify that, please.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jan? Okay, hearing none, I would accept a motion to approve the treasury report.
I move to accept the treasurer's report. This is Dawn.
Okay, thank you, Donna.
I would second the motion. This is Carol.
Okay, Carol, thank you. So we have a motion by Donna and a second by Carol to approve the August 2023 Treasury's report. Any final discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain because I prepared it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jan. So motion approved. So next on the agenda is going to be an update from the sponsorship committee. Jill, this would be you.
Thanks, Rick. Did everybody have a chance to look at the material that Calla forwarded from the committee?
Yes.
Okay, so just, we're trying to start in the committee, we were trying to start working with visuals a little bit, so it's easier for us to explain what we're doing. And then, you know, as we ask the board for approval moving forward, then maybe these are tools that the board may elect to use when we start rolling things out with the membership. So the income channels are, it's basically a visual of all the items that the sponsorship fundraiser, can we call it SNF? The SNF committee, we are targeting every one of those line items. And once we get to the marketing subcommittee draft, I suppose we'll call it a marketing report draft, all of these things will eventually be rolled into it. The reason for our wanting to approach the board tonight is we are targeting right now what is an affinity marketing program. It's the word affiliate and affinity are interchangeable, but because within ASCA, we use the word affiliate a lot with our clubs, we're trying to call it the affinity marketing program. So I may interchangeably use those words, and I apologize in advance if I do, because I know it as the affiliate marketing program. What we're trying to do right now is we're trying to get our arms around bringing in income for ASCA. And we're still waiting on the brochure from the designer so we can approach the corporate sponsors, but the committee decided that we would proceed with the affinity marketing program, and we would like to approach the board for their approval of a pilot program. And so while you all have the written material, I will just briefly, since this is being recorded, I'll just briefly explain what an affinity marketing program looks like. For an example, if you have a vendor that you partner with that sells a robotic vacuum that will clean up dog hair, we can sign a contract with them to where we will sell their product, or rather link their product to a static page on our website, and the membership can go through our website. On that page, there is a link to the vendor's website. The membership, if should they choose to purchase something, it is purchased directly through the vendor. The vendor fulfills the order through their drop ship. But not only will the member get a discount code, so they will get the product at the vacuum at a lesser amount. Our partner, our affinity partner, will also then give ASCA a percentage. In some cases, it's a dollar amount. In some cases, it's a percentage of the sale. And ASCA will start obtaining money very quickly. This is actually a very large method of partnership that's been going on as long as e-commerce came out. So we would be tapping into a program that already exists. And if one would take, 5 minutes and Google it, you will all of a sudden see all kinds of companies that offer this program. Some people, they offer more than others. And so what we are wanting to do is we are wanting to ask the board if they would entertain a pilot program with 10 companies that have agreed to work with ASCA and start bringing in some revenue that's, albeit not large in the beginning, it can grow into something quite large. And I'll use an example. Trupanion Pet Care is an insurance company, and they currently are paying $25 per lead. What they're looking for, obviously, the low-hanging fruit is going to be new dogs that are registered, largely puppies. ASCA, we register roughly 2,500 litters per year. From those 2,500, we experience about 2 per litter that are being registered. So that's about 5,000 dogs a year. If we were able to provide Trupanion with even a fraction of those 5,000, leads at $25 a lead, we would have a nice windfall from just that one vendor. One of the benefits to the members, so not only are we looking to, our mantra in the committee is we need to benefit the member, we need to benefit the organization, and our decision needs to support the long-term sustainability of the organization. So when we're picking these companies, we're wanting to benefit the members first. So one of the benefits that Trupanion offers is 30 days of free insurance coverage per puppy or per dog. So Cynthia herself has gone through the list. There's another spreadsheet, which is our active, our sponsorship database, if you will. And we have some targets listed on there as corporate sponsors, as well as affinity marketing programs. That is continually growing, by the way. We try to each research 10 every 2 weeks, and we determine the ones that shouldn't be added. That would be beneficial to the members as well as ASCA. Cynthia herself has gone through and selected what she thinks is the top 10 to start with in the pilot program. And there's sort of a myriad of different companies in there that you guys can review yourself. Some, it's a single item that people are selling. Some it's a service, some insurance. There's a couple that are websites that actually sell a multitude of things. And one of the reasons that we selected a couple of those, or rather Cynthia Cynthia did, is because we will need to be able to track metrics and learn as we go. So being able to partner with people that we trust or businesses that we are familiar with is part of why we've selected the couple that we have. So in addition, we have tried to put forth what a very conservative projection would be over a 6-month period of time. And that being said, if say in the first month, 3 members were to buy, say, the vacuum or something, you know, the projection really rolls out what ASCA can bring in very short order. And albeit conservative, at the end of 6 months, you can see between just the 10 pilot program affinity partners, as well as just a handful of corporate sponsors, we can very quickly bring in, you know, $25,000 to $30,000 without even batting an eye. So tonight, I am basically their spokesperson to ask the board if they would entertain this idea. If you have any questions, if you all agree to move forward, I would like to just briefly explain how monies would come in. But first, I'd like to turn it back over to you for questions and to get your thoughts. I'm sure I've left some things out, so I'm open to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Jill. I know you guys have put a lot of thought and work into this. So, Ann, any comments?
I'm on the committee, and I support everything we're doing. I've been in the discussions, and if need be, and if we decide to, I would be happy to bring forth a motion to approve the pilot plan for the affinity marketing partners to see if that can work for ASCA. Because I only see it as a positive. I did research some of them. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Ann. Carol?
So first, I'd like to say thank you to everybody on the sponsorship committee for all their work. This is an awesome idea, I believe, and I would definitely support the pilot project to get it started. One of the questions I have, it was, you said that it would be, in some instances, we could get paid for the lead, not necessarily, they don't have to purchase. Is that something that we were entertaining? Is that really?
Yeah, it's a very valid question. In talking to them, there are only so many concrete answers I can get until we apply. It's sort of like, you know, I think they're wanting to check us out as much as we're wanting to check them out. So I don't know if their term lead, if there's qualifiers to that, but I agree. I have the same question, which is on my list. Once we're at a pass, you know, where we really don't believe we can move forward and start applying for these things without the board's consent. So it's definitely my number one question with them.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much. And I, like I said, I appreciate all the work, and I would definitely support. This sounds very exciting, and I think we could definitely, ASCA could benefit from this. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Denise, did you ever join us?
Yes, I did. Sorry, I'm so used to a 5 o'clock meeting. I didn't even look at the time on it.
No, you're okay. Do you have a comment?
Yeah, you know, the only comment that I have, the only question I have is that has the committee, I know in talking to Cynthia that she was going to, and I didn't know if it had happened yet, check with Frank and Heidi as far as being able to accommodate this easily on the website, make it visible and usable on the website. Has that happened yet, Jill?
Yes, great question. I left that out. Thanks, Denise. So first I called Claire to make sure that I'm not, or we are not unnecessarily burdening Heidi before asking, and to make sure that it was well within, our abilities. She concurred. Then I called Heidi. She also concurred. I was hoping to do a mock-up of what a affiliate page might look like on our website. When I say it's a static page, it's really just an additional page to our existing website where we would envision a lot of different logos, one each for each partner. Underneath each logo would be an ASCA member promo code, and then a hyperlink directly to the partners page. That does not require any programming. It is just a matter of plopping it on a page. When we're done here, I'll touch on merchandising, which will be the next thing that we approach the board on. But until that happens, it's going to be very simple, because we're actually just acting as an intermediary. We are not actually selling the merchandise for them.
Great. I mean, as long as that's able to go forward, I would entertain a motion to go forward with it, because I think it's nothing but positive. Thank you. That's my comment.
Okay, thank you, Denise. Donna?
Yes, I would 100% support this. I am on the marketing subcommittee, so I have gotten filled in on this, and I think it's a fabulous program. The only other thing we would have to figure out is logistics of the money coming in, like how to funnel it, where it would go. Like that would have to be figured out, but I'm sure that would not be too big of a deal. But I am 100% in favor of going forward with this program.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Jan?
I think it's a great idea. I totally support it and appreciate all the hard work. So is this correct that this is one level? Now I'm hung up on the affiliate terminology. And then you'll also look into sponsorship lump sum type of situations as well. Is that what I understood out of your introduction?
Yes, you're correct. So it's hard to send the data electronically before talking. So after this meeting, if you guys get a chance to revisit the data, it will probably make more sense to you. The reason that we are approaching on the affiliate marketing program, see there, I just did it, is because we do need to start, reaching out to them and confirming, contracting. And it's not a contract that is like anything intensive. It's just, I agree to do this, you agreed to do that, and this is how much money you're going to get. So we needed to get approval first, but the corporate sponsors are lump sum, and we already got your okay on that. We're just actually waiting for the marketing material from the designer before we pursue that. So you are correct. There are two different things.
And on that spreadsheet, it's one of the columns is more sponsorship, or what is it labeled as?
I'm sorry, which one are you looking at? The projected income?
I don't have them open right now. You had 3 or 4 and you had different columns. And I was trying to figure out which companies were potentially sponsorships on that list.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So if you're looking at the projected income, the first 10 are the affinity marketing partners. And then below it just says corporate sponsors. And she really doesn't have it. We didn't line them out yet because we haven't actually specified any specific ones yet.
All right, thank you very much. I think we need to move it forward.
Okay, thank you, Jan. And I'm going to ask all directors to please check your computer or phone and make sure you're on mute when you're not talking. Jody, you're up next.
I'm on the subcommittee. I'm no additional comments and I'm all for it.
Thank you, Jody. Liz, did you join us?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Finally. so, yeah, I'm really excited about this. I really appreciate all the work. I think that we should go ahead with it and give it a shot. I support it. Thanks.
Thank you, Liz. Susan?
This is great work that you guys have done, and I'm really excited to see what it may bring in for us. Are there any costs associated with this program that we will need to bear in mind? This is my only question. Thank you.
Good question, Susan. Not that we can anticipate. Eventually, as we start putting forth all of these programs simultaneously, there will be some costs that we will put forward, but not, we should have zero costs associated with the affinity marketing program.
Thank you, Jill.
I guess absent, any, I should backtrack. If Heidi, if she is paid per hour or something, I'm sure there will be some, minimum amount of time associated with populating the website. But other than that, I don't anticipate anything else.
Okay, thank you. David, any comments?
Thank you for your excellent work and great ideas, and we'll move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Linda?
Let's do it.
Great, thank you. I also think it's a good idea. I think it's a win-win for ASCA. A lot of these products members may be using already, and we might as well benefit from it by partnering up with these different companies. So I'm all on board. Thank you, Jill, and the sponsorship committee, especially Cynthia Downing. If you guys see her out and about, give her a big pat on the back, because I tell you what, she is a true asset to this, and she is really working her tail off for ASCA. So thank her. If you see her, please do. So at this point, if a director would like to make a motion in a second, I'll go ahead and entertain this at this time.
Can I add a really quick question that maybe you'll want to address simultaneously? As the money comes funneling in, there was a question as to, and Susan might be the best one to answer this, because once we start filling out the applications, we'll need to tell them where to send the money if they are sending it electronically. Would you be using the general fund, or would you see any need to open a separate account? I don't personally have an opinion, but I would love to have the answer so we don't have to come back to the board.
So I would say it does not go into the general account, but that it should go straight into the savings account. And the reason would be is there's minimal activity there, and we would be able to track exactly what was coming in from the proceeds of this fundraising event. That would be my suggestion.
That's great. So I don't know if you all want to include that in your motion. But once you guys make a motion, then Susan, would I be getting that information from you? The account information?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
great.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
So
This is Donna. I will make a motion to go forward with the affinity sponsorship program and as presented by the sponsorship committee.
I'll second
Okay,
it,
thank you.
Denise.
Okay, thank you, ladies. We have a motion by Donna and a second by Denise to approve the sponsorships work to for their pilot program for the Infinity program. Does
there need to be a mention of the going directly to the savings account in the motion?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask Donna if she wanted to insert that in the motion.
Yes, that would be fine.
Okay. Calla, would you read that motion for us so we make sure we're clear?
Sure, I have a motion by Sims to go forward with the Affinity Marketing Pilot Program as presented by the Sponsorship and Fundraising Committee. The funds will go directly into ASCA's savings account.
Perfect. Any other further comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Next on the agenda is the 2024 annual membership meeting. As we prepare for nationals next month, the board has split the directors up into 3 different committees. One is the marketing committee, one is the finance committee, and one is the IT committee. Each of these groups have a champion, a board member who is champion this committee, and each one will give a report on where they stand at this moment. We'll start off with the marketing subcommittee, and Jill, you are the champion of that committee. I think we've kind of touched on part of that, but if you'd like to, continue.
Okay, I'll try to be super brief. What the marketing subcommittee did, the tactic that we decided to take was to resurrect the strategic plan. And we took the strategic plan and put some action items to it. In doing so, we identified, our target, who we are targeting in our marketing, the new members, current members, membership being number 1, the public, sponsors, affinity marketing program, and merchandising. And one of the things that came out of it that Jody asked a question in the middle of it, and she said, we happened to be talking about the Aussie Times at that moment, and she said, and Jody might be able to say it better, but what's the benefit to being a member? And when we started stripping it down, I asked Calla to send me the old membership brochure, and it just became really glaring that we haven't worked hard enough as an organization at developing, maintaining benefit member or member benefits. And so one of the big messages that came out of this is we need to, the affinity marketing program is going to be great for that as a kickoff, because not only are they going to get some promos, but we just realized that we need to build a benefit base for them. So that being said, we have developed a preliminary marketing plan that you can all review. It is a draft. We have a lot of work to do. We have assigned some action items to them. but it's going to take a lot of work. We also have decided on our own that we would like to also have our subcommittee encompass communications and really trying to establish a message of continuity from the board all the way down to the membership and so on. So I don't know that I have to go much further except to say that the subcommittee, the sponsorship committee does plan on rolling out next. We proposed the affinity marketing program. We do have in very short order a plan to roll out a merchandise piece as well, where the membership will be able to benefit from that as well, and kind of paying homage to the stock dog and our stock handlers, as well as the vintage Aussie and the vintage ASCA. So I'm excited to roll that out for you guys to view in the next week or two. And I think that's it, unless any of the other members of the subcommittee want to add anything that I've left out.
So we'll go around real quick. Anne, do you have any questions for Jill regarding the marketing committee?
No, I think it parallels, and as she said, it's going to be wrapped into the sponsorship and fundraising. And I read the marketing plan, and good ideas. And so just looking forward to everything that comes out of it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Anne. Carol?
Yeah, that sounds very promising, and I'm actually excited to see some of the future marketing ideas and merchandising. I guess one of my questions, and it's for every committee, but are we going to have a finalized version of each of these to present at the membership meeting? Is that our goal, or is this in-house things that we're working on, not necessarily present at the general meeting? That's my question.
Carol, I believe our goal is to have a finalized report from each committee at the general membership meeting.
Okay, great. And then are we going to go over the individual questions at some other time? Is that going to be part of the same discussion?
That is
receiving the questions now.
No, it's we will handle that at a different meeting. There's too many topics to go over in this short amount of time that we have.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you. That's all I had. Thank you, everybody, for your hard work.
Thank you, Carol. Denise?
I don't have any questions this time. I think it's fairly complete. Thanks.
Thank you, Denise. Donna?
Yeah, I am on this subcommittee and I'm super excited. I think that Cynthia just put out the flyer for the sponsorship and it looks gorgeous. So that's going to be awesome. And I think the between the merchandising, like there's just some awesome ideas for merchandise. That's going to be super cool. And with the affinity program and the sponsorships, I just think this has a lot of potential to go forward and build. And I just think that needs to be our focus, is going forward. And how can we build ASCA and make it just better than it's ever been? And I think this all is a great way to do that and to go forward into the future.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Jan?
I don't have anything to add. Everybody's asked great questions. Thanks. I'm highly supportive of this.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Jody?
I'm on the subcommittee, no additional comments, just really looking forward to just finding ways to engage the membership a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. Liz?
Yes, again, thank you so much for all the work. I think I don't have any further questions. I'm in support of it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Susan?
Again, thanks for all your hard work, guys. It's really sounds exciting. I do have a question on how the merchandise aspect will work. Is this going to be one of those drop ship situations, or is this going to require manpower from some entity? Thank you.
Jill, would you like to answer that question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I pressed it all the way. Thank you for that question, Susan. The committee's immediate response is to have this all be handled drop ship. We promise we will not put any burden on the business office. I did touch on earlier that as we roll these things out, we will be able to put more numbers to things as we add programs. And there will be a time that as we're bringing substantial money in, that we will want to invest back some money in some manpower, but I don't see that happening in the near future. But we would all obviously be part of that decision when it comes, but we're not planning on having ASCA have to fill orders.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Jill. David?
Yeah, this is very exciting, and I look forward to seeing how it's done in the future.
Okay, thank you, David. Linda? Linda?
Okay, sorry, I'm here. I'm just very excited to see this program grow. Thank you for working on it.
Okay, thank you, Linda. I as well, I think this is great work by the subcommittee, and I definitely approve. Jill, do you have any closing comments on the marketing committee?
Except to say that we're just a subcommittee of this body. So once you start talking about it, it kind of makes you a little excited and you start thinking about, oh, we could do this and we can do that. There is no idea that we will turn away. We'll consider any idea that anybody has. The pilot program right now for the affinity marketing program is just, we're just scratching the surface, and already in just small dialogue, we've already added ideas on companies to approach. So just bear in mind that, you know, if you please, I mean, I'm just going to say one thing, not to embarrass Donna over and over and over again, but I asked her at the end of the first subcommittee meeting, could you, with your depth of knowledge in the stock world, could you please help me climb into the stock world and teach me what is of value to somebody who does stock? And she really came up with some incredible stuff. I'm very proud of all the energy and the enthusiasm and really the passion that's been thrown into this. So anybody who wants to share ideas, please don't hesitate. We'd be thrilled to hear from you.
Okay, thank you, Jill. So next we'll go with the finance committee. The finance committee is kind of comprised of some different pieces, and I'm going to let Susan kind of break these down for you. But the pieces that we're talking about is the loan repayment, our staff at the ASCA business office, our savings and Computer Fund, the Aussie Times, and the AEMD. So there's lots of different moving pieces, and I'm going to let Susan address those. Susan?
Thank you. Yes, there are a lot of moving pieces, and I appreciate all of the help and support we've had on this committee. It's great when we get to have great discussion on how we feel we should progress the basic standing of the organization in order to keep us growing and moving forward. So with our discussions and the analysis that both Jody and I have been working on, we feel that we can live up to our commitment to the membership to have this loan repaid as quickly as possible. And we truly believe that we'll be able to make a payment of $8,600 per month, enable us to get to that point. Our suggestion, and this will go, we will be discussing this, of course, at our board meeting when we are together. As you all know, we do have some funds that did not have to be utilized to get out of debt with the computer company. And we've been holding on to those just to make sure that we didn't feel like we needed to utilize them for anything else. Our strong suggestion will be to make a lump sum payment and for those excess funds to reduce the amount of the loan and get a big jump on that. And then in December, I believe, November, December, I can't remember exactly what month we believe we can start this, begin these $8,600 a month payments so that it will be paid off in as quick a manner as possible. Our second level that needs to be addressed is the investment in our staff. You all know, and the membership will now know, that we basically are starting over with our staff members. Barbara Tersick, who has been there for 3 years in the stock department, will be retiring on September 29th. We have hired a young woman to learn as much as she possibly can before Barb departs. Her name is Jennifer Thomas. She's doing a very good job, and she wants to learn and she wants to be there. So we're very pleased to have her. With the promotion of Sarah to the office manager position, of course, it left a hole in the agility coordinator position. The young woman, Claire Brown, that we had hired immediately after Jennifer, has taken the position of the agility coordinator. And we are very lucky to have this young woman. She definitely has a lot of business acumen and just a great personality. And I think she's going to do a great job for us. We truly had a golden egg dropped in our lap. Young woman by the name of Jamie Pierce was hired on yesterday, actually. And due to circumstances that were necessary, we've had a change in personnel in the shoot, I'm so tired, my brain won't work, in the confirmation obedience coordinator position. Trial by fire, Jamie jumped right in and is going to be a tremendous asset, not only in this confirmation position, but she has a ton of experience in cyber technology and security on the computers. So I feel like we are truly blessed. These young women are all staff members that we would like to keep on staff. We still will need to hire another individual because the way this organization has grown with the numbers of programs and competitors, the number of staff members that previously were able to make do with the number of hours in a week, with the amount of growth that we have sustained, they absolutely cannot continue at that pace. So we are strongly suggesting that we invest in our staff in order to keep these people that were not basically throwing money away by training people that we then end up losing. So that's going to be a big push for us. And then by the time we take care of our loan commitments and our staff, we do have some decisions to make. And yes, we have discussed and will continue to discuss and come to a firm decision on how we wish to approach the computer funds that need to be maintained in order to complete the computer program rewrite. There are still some areas of the database and the portal that are not user-friendly, and in order to serve our membership, we simply need to address those issues as quickly as we possibly can. And then also to begin to rebuild those additional event membership dues. And we have a plan for that as well. I know the publication of the Aussie Times will be brought up, as we discussed at the spring meeting when we decided to discontinue the printing temporarily and revisit it at the spring meeting. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to revisit that topic at the spring meeting, and we also have some plans to discuss on that and how we may best fit our needs while at the same time serving the needs and concerns of the membership. So if anybody has any specific questions, please feel free to ask and we will address those. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Let's go around right quick. Ann?
I don't think I have any questions. I really appreciate what you guys have figured out. I trust, because I trust you, Susan, and Jody to understand the financial aspect of it. And so thank you very much for delving into all of that and figuring out a plan. Thanks.
Thank you, Ann. Carol?
Yes, I'm on this committee. I don't have anything else to add. Thank you, Susan and Jody.
Thank you, Carol. Denise?
Sorry.
Denise?
I don't have anything to say other than thank you, Susan and Sarah, for the coordination that you've done and reorganization in the office. I know, going through staff like that back and forth is hard, and it sounds like you're really coming to a great culmination there of new people. So keep it up. We sure appreciate you. You know that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Denise. Donna?
Yes, I also thank all of you guys for all of your hard work. Susan, did you say you guys do have plans in place for computer funds and AEMD paying that back? Did you say you guys do have something in plan for that?
We are discussing the best way we're going to be able to take care of those two items.
Okay, so those are in the works. All right, nope, I don't have any questions then. This all sounds great. Thank you all for your expertise and all of your hard work.
Thank you, Donna. Jan?
Thanks for all the work on it. It's exciting to hear about all the employees and what they have to offer. And yes, Susan, I was working on the budget that has to be presented. And I definitely had more in the section for the employees to make sure that we can fund that. I am not comfortable with the 8,000. I believe it should be 5,000, and we need to keep reviewing it. I just want to be conservative that we are making grounds, and then I guess I'm trying to hope that we can get some money for the computer once I get to my IT talk. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Jody?
I have no additional comments.
Thank you, Jody. Liz?
I have no questions and no comments at this time, except to say that I want the whole membership to know how hard Susan has worked to bring the office to where it's now, and how happy I am that Sarah is now the manager, so that we can just go forward and look forward to a brighter future. I just want to say that I just have the highest hope for the office. And thank you, Susan, and thank you to the finance subcommittee.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Jill?
I don't really know how to formalize this thought, so I'll do my best. I feel like the way Rick has assigned us to different subcommittees, for me anyway, was a really good plan. I feel really confident with the suggestions that were put forth, and I really trust the group in that they're trying to do what they think is best, and that you're going to continue to work on things. I would suspect that at some point you'll be rolling out an overall plan. Just weigh in on that. And I'm really grateful to hear that things are starting to shift, albeit sounding negative with what happened recently in the office. I think it's a godsend, and I'm feeling really, really confident that things are starting to shift in a very positive way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jill. David?
Yeah, I wanted to thank Susan for the back-breaking work that she's done to keep all the plates moving and keep everything moving very smoothly and in a positive direction. And without you, we could not be where we are today. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Linda?
I just want to remind everybody that we stopped the printing of the Times so that we could pay off the loan quicker. So that's the plan. That's what the membership wants. They want their magazine back. So the faster we pay off the loan, then we can work on getting the Times back.
Thank you, Linda. And that's exactly what I was going to say. We did stop the printing of the Aussie Times because we needed to get that loan to pay off our past computer company. And we have done that. We are making great strides to pay off this loan. My hopes that within the next 10 to 11 months, that loan will be paid off, and we will be addressing the Aussie Times at the spring board meeting. So we are going to do what we said we're going to do. So the Aussie Times is still in our plans to start printing again. There's been a lot of talk about the Aussie Times going away forever. That is not the case, and that is not our intentions. So I just want the membership to know we are going to take care of this loan situation, but then this spring we will be addressing the reprint of the Aussie Times. Just so the membership knows, there is some discussions about dropping the issues from 6 to 4, but that is all still under discussion. So we are putting the numbers out. I have been working with Cynthia, our editor, finding out ways that we can possibly reduce the Aussie Times cost to ASCA. So there's a lot of discussion, and all of this will be coming to a head at the spring board meeting. So just everybody, please stay tuned. We want the magazine in print just like you guys do. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Susan, any final comments on the finance committee?
I just want to say thank you guys for all your positive comments and reinforcement and support. It really means a lot. Some days it's just really hard to hold it all together. And this week has been excessively difficult. So I did tell them today, we are like a phoenix rising from the ashes. We will maintain and we will continue to rise above and overcome all the obstacles that have been placed in our path. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Susan. The next committee is going to be our IT committee. Jan Wiesen is the champion of that committee. Jan, do you have a report for us?
Yes, I do. They had a lengthy meeting and had a lot of really good discussion, and they've answered some of your questions, and I'd like to just kind of summarize some of the things. Where the computer project stands right now, it's at a standstill. The things they're doing are outside of the portal and the office. There's no money if something goes wrong. There's not enough expertise in the specific areas if they make a release that they can for sure fix it. Although we do have a really good team in this group of people, but it's they're nervous about testing when there's nothing, no monetary values there. What is incomplete? There is a Google Doc, which is in the list that has over 254 things that are just coding things that needed to be fixed, and we're on the fix list with the company. And Heidi has been very instrumental of helping to bridge what things were left, what other things are out there, helping this team to know which directions to go. And so part of it is looking at the war project and working with Heidi. The things that did get released is the additional security and the credit cards. We have to make sure that everybody really realizes that at the beginning of this project, that was a very important part. And there was a lot of money and time spent on security in this that wasn't there by the previous programmers. The next item was access by non-members. There's more privacy and data collection acknowledgements. So they have more verifications of emails. They can disable and they can put a person back in, and they can do renewal reminders, and got those working again. They can have the ability to opt out of certain communications. You can reprint your titles. You can reprint your dog registration cards. You can manually enter for a new event. Dog jumping will show up in the dog's official name. Now you don't need to apply for Hall of Fame because it's being generated. The status of registration, there's a signature approval process, and the ability to view leases. The things that were coming next was puppy releases and registration of puppies, and the ATCH user view, and the DNA uploads and future functioning. And then they have a list of backlogs, which is the LAP dog registration, foreign registry, affiliate renewals, event sanction, event results input, agility results upload, the junior handler management by the guardian and parent, Hall of Fame titles, and the ATCH and the RATCH points for the dogs, the dog search, the dog pictures, and the files from the AWS. It's included in the DNA files. So for the financial impact to complete this project, they really felt that they weren't capable of answering that. Their solution to this is to give one specific problem to somebody and have them resolve it. And it's not like you're going to build dock jumping or anything new. You're going to be resolving all these 283 issues. So with that talk, they were working on how they can go forward with this project. And you're not going to know what company it's going to be and how well they'll be at bid, but it would be a small piece at a time, not a whole project. And hopefully this group of people, I'm going to call them the Marks and the Claires and the Collins and Heidi are looking at these things, that if we go in step by step, it's going to be a way that we can reach our end goal. They answered some other things, but I'm going to go straight with a big recommendation. And I'm going to probably murder her name. Veronica Lebay, who was from Poland, was one of the main writers of what we now have. And so that the membership knows, this was also very important to the office, and some of us are not office, the IT group, that the office really has a very different product that they're looking at, much easier ways for them to see titles. Things are categorized. The office did get a little bit more benefits, even though they do have a lot of glitches and probably have several errors as well. But with Veronica, she has actually been using a dog registry database in part of her YouTube's demonstrations. If you go out, I'm not sure I can get to it. Maybe Anne can get to it. They did provide us with a YouTube video, and it was basically our program and how she developed it. She has gone out in the private sector, it looks like. They would like to reach out to her. And so they're kind of asking if they can do something like that. Oh, the link is in what I sent you. Sorry about that. I just noticed that. So that would be one of their questions. So that's why I'm looking to make sure we have some money, because we do have a knowledgeable person that maybe we could tap into on small projects as side job of somebody that we would not have to educate on what the current database is. So their key points: one, developing some graphic that shows and delivers the planning scope and share as part of the committee's report for the general meeting. So they're really going to try to have something put together for everybody. And they're going to be extracting some lists to see what they can do. One of the other issues that they've come up with is they do have some program that they've pushed into staging, and this would be the project that they would like her to look at potentially, because there is a bunch of leftover stuff that was sitting in staging from when we stopped, and we don't know what those things are. And if everybody remembers, at that time, every time they released, we got a bunch of problems. So they're not feeling comfortable moving forward. So I would like to be able to carve out a little bit of money that they can begin to do a little bit to try to step forward to be able to do some processes, so that they could maybe push this staging, because there is quite a few things in that process that could be helpful to the membership. I think that's about all. I could have missed something in this. It was a very good meeting. They had lots of good ideas to move forward. But to move forward, it's going to be finances. If we do too big of a gap, we might lose some of the knowledge basis. And at the very end of our meeting last night, I really thanked Heidi for her blending of all the information and her support of this project. She has helped the whole group for everybody to get on board so we know where we're at and where we're going. And so if anybody sees her, they need to give her a big thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Anne, do you have any comments for Jan?
Well, I am on the committee. I was in the meeting, and obviously what Jan said was true. Yeah, I think the big points were that, as Jan said, there are about 250 bugs, errors that need to be figured out how to be fixed before they can do anything else, add anything else, put anything else in. And so that is why one of the biggest issues was, in terms of a new company and having anyone do anything, is that it would be a tremendous amount of time, and we have to pay people for that, to bring them up to speed for them to understand the code. So when it was suggested that we try to find and contact Veronica, that would take out that entire part of bringing someone up to speed. And so I think that if we can bring her in for small projects, that would absolutely be the most cost-effective way to get things done, because she knows everything that's going on. One of the other things that they posted in the committee today was, I don't know quite the technical aspect of it, but as Jan said, like these items in staging that they have, which were like really close, and it would be great if we could actually move them into production. That to do that, it's a QA engineer, where they test it and make sure that everything is fine and nothing else breaks when you put it into production, make it live. And so, as Jan was saying, in terms of when we were talking with the finance committee, that it actually kind of works out perfectly that the finance committee proposed $8,000 or so a month on the loan. Jan said she felt more comfortable with $3,000 or $5,000 or so on the loan. And Mark Sutton went and contacted a QA engineer, and for this person to go and test all of the things that are in staging and to make them work would be about $3,000 a month. So there's your difference. And we could move forward and get these things live for the membership, get the fixes done, and get these things that were so close out there for relatively small monthly payments, where things are actually getting done every single solitary month. So that was kind of exciting to hear, even though in the huge scheme of things, it's long time and lots more money. Computer programmers are not cheap to get kind of, and they, another thing that they stressed is that, like, there's no final project. There's no end. That everything needs to be maintained. Things need to be added. It's not like this ever ends and we're like, okay, woohoo, we're done. So part of the problem that what got us in here in the first place is that nothing's changed for years. And so there needs to be updates all the time, and it is going to continue forever. That is the way that the computer age works. So that was the last part, but in general, like from following the IT committee the last few months, they are working so hard to get up to speed. They've only been looking for like 8 months, and they're really just trying to tackle everything head on in their part-time volunteer way that they're doing. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Anne. Carol, any comments?
Yeah, so first I'd like to say I feel blessed that we have the people that we have on the IT committee. It's definitely not my wheelhouse, and I feel like they seem to really know what they're doing, which is really exciting. It's really exciting news that we could find Veronica, because having her already know the system is like such a bonus. So I would really support entertaining having her work on some things as things come up. And I definitely think we need to be in communication with her and let her know that we would be interested in that. I'm on the finance committee, but when you, like, I guess my question, is it like $3,000 a month? Is that a good dollar amount to like help fund these fixes? It's always good to put a dollar number with what is going, what we're doing. So if in fact it is $3,000 a month, I wouldn't be opposed to a review of the payoff, just because it sounds like we have a lot of things that could be offered to the membership relatively soon. They're basically pretty much done, just sitting there waiting for whatever the final approval is called. So I would definitely entertain that discussion. I don't know that I would necessarily change my mind, but it would definitely be some discussion and I would definitely consider it. So I appreciate everything that the IT committee has done, and I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Denise?
I agree with what Carol has said, and Jan also. I was going to mention in the last committee report that, and I forgot, that I would be in agreement with Jan to pay $5,000 toward the loan and have a $3,000 to either put toward the AEMD money, or to now with this report go in with the computer program, or to go toward that, because our membership is hungry for the computer program, and if we don't continue with it, we just get further and further behind. And so I, as much as I know about computers, I would think that we should make some progress continuously along while we have the opportunity, and reevaluate how we could do that and how much difference it would really actually make in the bottom line on the loan, going with $5,000 a month and $3,000 headed to the IT committee, a computer system. And also as we realize a financial gain from raise of different fees in the office, perhaps then we can put additional money towards AEMD or whatever as that goes along, so that doesn't stagnate either. But anyway, thank you so much to this committee for the work they do. And I'm glad that the gal from Poland is on this, since she's knowledgeable about it already. I think she's a real asset. So, Jan and committee, good job, and pass our thanks on to the entire committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Donna?
Yes, also my thank you to the committee. I think it's just amazing. We have so many people that are investing so much time and energy into ASCA. It just blows my mind sometimes, like the people that we have attracted and that have come along and that are working so hard. And I just think it's awesome. I love the idea of getting the gal who has worked, knows the program. That just makes total sense. It would save so much in the long run. I agree that we need to be moving forward and chipping away at these things. I know it's a lot and it seems kind of insurmountable, but one step at a time and one problem at a time. I think that if we are going forward, then we're making progress towards it, and that's how we'll get to the end goal. So I too kind of like the idea of if we could pay a little less on the loan and then have some money to be moving forward with the fixes on the computer program and get going in that direction. I do like that idea also.
Thank you, Donna. Jody?
My thanks also to the committee. This is, I don't understand mostly any of it, but I'm glad we have people working on it. I'm gonna say that as part of the finance committee, I think we can make the loan payment of $8,600 and a $3,000 payment if it's $3,000 a month to this individual to keep moving forward. I think it's important. I believe we have a little wiggle room in our excess. If we get some money coming in from the affinity program, that gives us even a little more. And I think that we can do it. And I think that if we are careful and pay attention, that it can all work and we can take care of the loan and also put some towards the computer. And I think we should move forward on that. And we also have the possibility of, if for some reason we can't do an $8,600 payment for 1 month, then we just do a $5,000 payment. So there's wiggle room, but I think that we should be aggressive while we can and make adjustments if needed as we go forward. That's it.
Thank you, Jody. Liz?
Yes, of course, thank you to the IT committee. They have been working so hard the last few months, and it is a difficult situation because they came in cold to, try to figure out what's going on with the system. And so thank you to the IT committee for all their work. I think that doing the fixes, continuing on with the system is very important, because we are in this mess partly because we didn't do that before. So we need to keep on it. Unfortunately, it is a very expensive endeavor. And I just want to say, if the finance subcommittee can find a way to wiggle how the money is used and figure everything out, then we should go forward with as many fixes as possible, so that we can maintain the system and also give the membership the service that online that they deserve. That's all.
Thank you, Liz. Susan?
Want to mirror what Jody said. I think there's a very strong possibility we can make both of these things happen, but I also want everyone to remember what we told the membership we were doing with the money that we were going to be saving for not printing the Aussie Times, and that was to repay the loan, and I will stick with that. We've told them that's what we wanted to do. I want us to see that through. I do believe that we can squeeze this turnip a little bit tighter, and I think we can do both. I think we did. I definitely know we need to go ahead and get this computer in a more working, user-friendly situation, and I would love it if we could go ahead and take care of both of these items sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Jill?
My initial thought was, well, I guess the marketing subcommittee needs to figure out a way to bring in an extra $11,600 a month. I'll take that as a personal challenge. No, I echo Jody and Susan's sentiments. I think we need to be aggressive where we can. I am putting my trust in the finance subcommittee, and I am completely blown away by the progress that the IT committee has made thus far. It's incredibly impressive. I do know a couple of the people, and just listening to them talk is incredible. And to Donna's point, everybody, including everyone on this call, is working tirelessly to see ASCA succeed. And every single person has my personal thanks.
Thank you, Jill. David?
Hey, I'm the new person to the IT committee. And I was really impressed with what has been going on. They are at this point an advisory committee because they can't really do work because of the list of potential bugs and not wanting to break the system. But they came up with some great ideas to move forward. And, Jan certainly covered all of that. So it's promising.
Thank you, David. Linda?
I think we can work on both as well, what Jody and Susan said.
Okay, thank you, Linda. And I would kind of like to echo what Jody and Susan said is our commitment to the membership was to pay off this loan and bring back the Aussie Times. And that's what my goal is to do. If we can do more, that's great. But our commitment to the membership is to bring back the Aussie Times publication, and that's what I want to see done. I do have a question for Jan. It was my understanding that this Veronica person that you're mentioning, she was on the initial work and she did a lot of work on the system. But it's my understanding is we have made no contact with Veronica. She is overseas and we do not know where she's at, if she can help us. That was my understanding. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I think they found her in LinkedIn, and
okay.
If we gave them the okay, they would probably see if they could communicate with her. At least start communicating with her might be useful if she has maybe small amount of time in between projects. So then it wouldn't be as big of a dollar output. They actually found her on LinkedIn last night, and they found all these little videos that she was using. This is examples of some of the work and what the it was very technical, so it wasn't an easy watch as far as the layperson, but she definitely knew the project. And I guess I also forgot, and thanks, Anne, she brought up a couple points that I did forget. That's great, is that they really feel that what they can see and what they can look at, it looks like a good foundation in there. And until they get somebody in there working on it and knowing for sure. And they're mentioning Veronica because they never had problems with anything that her hands were on when she put it out there, because she read the rule books. She really understood ASCA. And I even remember when I would listen to the few audios that we were allowed to view, she sounded like she knew ASCA and ASCA's dog programs, from agility to conformation to the whole 9 yards. And they're afraid if she gets too far away from being where she was, that we might lose some of that knowledge. So hopefully that answers your question, and hopefully we can make some decisions so they can move forward. I am very nervous about $11,000. I guess I'm the conservative one. I was the one all along saying we needed to stop back in the day. I would like to be more careful. Yes, we said we'd bring the Aussie Times back, but we have a lot of things that have to be fixed. We have the office employees need a better environment. We need to make sure that, we're kind of doing something with the computer program, and we need to be paying off this loan. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jan. And I just was wanting to make another final comment. I do know that the IT committee is forming a database engineer questionnaire to be sent out to folks so we get a better understanding of what kind of knowledge they have. I believe that is almost ready to go. I've talked to Claire, and we're just a couple of days away from being able to send this out to some individuals to get some information on them and find out what kind of expertise they have. So with that said, our goal is to.
Can I mention one
Okay.
quick thing, Rick? It's because it's come up a number of times with the Aussie Times. And when that has come up, everyone has said, oh, well, let's separate it. Let's do our membership and let's do an Aussie Times membership. And that was something I brought up in the meeting. And that is programming. And one of the things they were going to investigate is whether the dollar amount for the membership fee for the membership renewal can be changed easily. That Mark was going to go into the code and see if it could be changed, because then that way, maybe a little bit in the future, say spring meeting, when we talk about the Aussie Times, that they could change the value of the membership fees if they could, and then have a separate sign up for the Aussie Times. And so that was something that they were going to look into. Right now, there is no way to set up in the membership renewal to opt in or out or pay or not pay for the Aussie Times. So right now that's not possible. And that was one of the things that a bunch of members have suggested. And they found Veronica, have not contacted her, but also want to be careful about legal, intellectual property laws in terms of what she did for the former company and things like that. Obviously, we would love to get into contact with her and love to try to hire her, but we obviously want to do it legally. So we do need to look at that as well. Thanks.
And that hence the reason why we are pushing this out to the spring board meeting that was discussed last night with the finance committee. They are working on this with the IT committee. So let's don't push the cart before the horse. We have several months to work out those details. So let's move on. This is getting lengthy. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. And sorry, I'm on my phone this evening and things are a little slow. Number 6 was the Aussie Times, and I think we've pretty much beat this horse to death. Jill, this was yours. Do you have any other comments on the Aussie Times, or do you think we've covered it?
No, I think we've covered it. When we talk about the merchandise piece, from the sponsorship fundraising committee, I'll bring up a workaround that I have in mind to bridge the gap until we can change the programming. But if we're going to wait to address the Aussie Times to the spring board meeting, then that can wait. But I would like to at least throw it out there for just to have you mull it over in the future.
Sure, absolutely. So next on the agenda is the alternate judges for nationals and finals. Denise, this was a topic that you had brought up.
Yes. We have a situation that could arise anytime that we have a nationals, and that is a judge that cancels at the last minute. And I think that we should have a plan in place so that if this happens, we have a qualified judge that we can call up that is already pre-approved by the board, and that they understand that if they get called right away, that they're ready to come. I just think that it would protect ourselves. It would make it a lot easier knowing that and it could be published that this person is an alternative judge and is qualified to judge anything in either confirmation or rally obedience, whoever needs it. But I think we need to have a little system in mind here. And so, especially in the confirmation portion, I would like to make a motion to accept that an alternative judge is selected when the next nationals selects their judges originally, and that person is is actually named as the alternate judge in case of a cancellation. I don't think that it's necessary that judge would have to undergo the same requirements as far as not judging, months ahead, because it wouldn't be fair to them to have to go through that and then find out they're not even going to be used. But because now they're the same. I mean, we had one last year that had been on site, and they needed an alternate judge, and so that they moved her right in, and it was not a problem. So I just like to hear what people think about it, but I think that's something that we need to do going forward. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Denise. Ann, a comment on that?
I think I commented and Calla gave all the quotes from the different rule books that actually in every rule book for the draws, the polls for both nationals judges and finals judges, in each program rule book, it says we draw this number and then we draw this number of alternates, and there are always more that are drawn. So I think that the rules are like 90% of the way there, and possibly some of them are probably fine the way they are. Like obedience is you draw two and then you draw two alternates. So it's right there in the rule book. The alternates are drawn, alternate, and it says right in there, if a judge cancels and so on and so forth. So I think what she's asking is just a little clarification, a little bit tweak in the wording, but pretty much most of the rule books are 90% of the way there. So it would be asking the individual program committees to take it that last 10%, if need be, to guarantee that there is a named published alternate or two for finals and nationals should something arise, so that both the competitors and the judge is aware of that. So, but all the rules for picking nationals and finals judges are in the program rule books. So it would be a change in the program rule books. And so that needs to go to the committees. I don't see a problem with it, but we just need to work out what the goal is and then the wording for that. Thanks.
Thanks, Ann. Carol? Carol, are you still with us?
Okay, sorry, I was having trouble getting off mute. I think that it is already in place in some programs, so I would definitely be okay with having it in place in all programs. When they draw for the regular judges, just draw the alternates at that point, and then we can just publish that. It would be public knowledge. And I do agree that if you're an alternate, you should not have to fall under the rules that you couldn't judge ahead of time, or I don't know what all the rules are, like if you have to have clients that don't show under you or whatever. I mean, I think an alternate would be just like an emergency judge. So nobody plans on being that person, but at least they're available if need be. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Denise? Oh, no, Denise, I'll come back to you. Sorry. Donna?
I have nothing to add. I agree with all of the above.
Thank you, Donna. Jan?
I think part of it is it's not really, it's beyond the scope of the rules. It's when you get down to these late hours and something happens, there needs to be a procedure that might not follow those rule books. I believe that's kind of more Denise's issue that you always have those people, but once you get to this point, you know, they're either going to be competing and don't want to judge, or they might want to judge, or you're going to have to grab somebody else. So there might just need to be some emergency quote plan. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Jody?
I agree with all the comments, with Ann's comment about making the additional wording a little, define it a little bit more. Nothing else to add.
Thank you, Jody. Liz?
Yes, I think that I agree. We probably need to have some kind of emergency contingency plan that is spelled out in the rule book. And I think that the board should just request that the each program committee looks at it and tries to come up with the language to put in the rule book, so that the emergency plan is in their own rule book. But I think we need committee input. Thanks.
Thank you, Liz. Susan?
I appreciate the thought that Denise has put into this, and I think that it probably could benefit from being discussed at the committee level. I definitely understand. We've had it happen multiple times in the past where you've had an urgent situation that you need to find an immediate step-in judge. And we need to make sure that if that situation arises this year, we need to have a strict policy as to how that emergency judge is selected. It should not be up to one individual. It should be our decision, I believe, before it is offered to that substitute/replacement judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Jill?
Nothing to add.
Thank you. David?
I think you can copy what's been done with the herding and the finals. They have a list of people that are pulled plus alternatives. If for some reason the one person isn't available, there are alternatives that are pre-selected. I do think it needs to go down to the committee level, but I think you could use that example as at least a starting point.
Thank you, David. Linda?
Nothing to add.
Okay, thank you, Linda. I also agree. This is a committee business, and the committee needs to deal with this. I truly believe. I would hate for us to make a decision and leave the committee out of it. So that is just my opinion. Denise, any final comments?
No, I just wanted the board to know that this is something that we felt needed to be done, and absolutely it needs to go to the NAC and be discussed there. But there's no, so I appreciate everybody being in support of it, and then it can go to the NAC. I mean, I'm a member of the NAC, so I think that that's where it needs to go and follow through.
Okay, thank you, Denise. Thank you, Denise. We'll follow through with that and get you some answers. Next on is the system liaison report. That's another area. Jan, do you feel like we need to address this further, or are you good with this?
I am good. I think I've covered quite a bit. Thank you.
Yes, you did. Okay, thank you, Jan. Number 9 was the 2025 Nationals in Winnemucca. Just so the membership knows, we got a message from a ASCA member that Winnemucca, the town of Winnemucca, or just outside the town of Winnemucca, they are starting to do some lithium mining, which they will be bringing in 2,000 to 3,000 workers to work on that mine for the next 2 to 3 years. I wanted to put it on this just to get the board's opinion. Do we reach out? I know Liz has already reached out to the NAC and they're going to do some investigation. I'm not looking to make any kind of rush decision, but do you feel like that we need to investigate this a little bit further? It could, there's no telling what this could impact with our nationals. So I just wanted to bring it out there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'd like to go around and just see what each director feels is the best interest for ASCA and that Winnemucca Nationals. We have not signed a contract with Winnemucca yet. So with that said, I'm going to go around right quick. Ann, any comments?
Yeah, I actually went through and like investigated a little bit more. There are things in terms of the timeline that at that point, when we are there in 2025, that there could be a large number of workers completing the plant. However, the only impact that I saw to the city of Winnemucca was that they were parking there. That the members' concern about hotels and restaurants and things like that, I really don't think was warranted. However, I've followed the conversation with the NAC, and I absolutely believe what they propose to do is the thing to do. Contact the people that are there. We have a contact at the fairgrounds. We have a contact with the city, and they know best. They've been dealing with this for years because there's actually been like a ton of protests because it's on Indian land where this strip mining was going to be, but we all need lithium for our cell phones. So absolutely, the NAC's plan to contact all of the people that are involved with the Nationals and to get their responses to our questions, and then we can evaluate their responses and make a decision based on that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Ann. Carol?
So, yeah, I read that article also in its entirety. I do think that it would be prudent for the NAC to reach out to our contacts in Winnemucca and just ask whatever the questions are that we have. It sounds like it's going to be, like Ann said, it doesn't sound like there's going to be a huge impact to what we do as far as hotels, food, all those things. Sounds like have a good handle on the situation, but I definitely think that since we haven't signed the contract, it would be wise for the NAC to contact them and reach out to those people and just get any of our questions answered, just so we have additional information going forward. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Denise?
Yeah, I agree. And I think there needs to be several people that are discussed, that this item is discussed with by the NAC, because we know that hotel space and restaurant space is limited, and so we just need to find out for sure. And there is no contract yet, and if a contract comes in soon, I don't think we should act on it until we are totally comfortable with the fact that it will not affect us. So that and it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a plan B in place, but I think we can hold on that maybe if we hear some more from the NAC, hopefully soon. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Denise. Donna?
Yeah, I also read the article all the way through, and I guess maybe I got some different things out of it because it did sound in there like they were concerned about restaurants and the impact on it. And they did also mention in there that they are already having trouble with their hotels and motels being full from contract workers from the mines, and the middle of the week you can't even find rooms sometimes. So it sounds like they're already pretty maxed with the mine workers. So it definitely is a concern, and I would agree that we need to pursue it and ask questions and get a lot of answers before we sign the contract for sure.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Jan?
We need to research it, but I think we need to say who is researching it so that it's definite, either one of the board of directors or NAC, but I think we need to define who is going to research this. But we need to go straight to the sources back there and take care of finding out what they really are seeing on the ground. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jan. And just to answer your question, the NAC will be investigating this. Jody, you're up next.
Agreed. It just needs to be researched.
Thank you. Liz?
Okay. So, of course, I immediately contacted the NAC, and they're already actively discussing how they're going to approach it. They have a list of people that they're going to talk to. And one of the main concerns, of course, is the hotels and the restaurants, because to begin with, they didn't have as large as an availability of hotels and restaurants as some of the other sites that we have used before. So to have an incoming group of workers could possibly be a problem. So they're gonna get to the bottom of it. They're gonna see if they can hone in on how the hotels are gonna deal with, a block for ASCA, and how much that's gonna be, as close as possible to the cost per room that they can get, and then they will get back to us. But they, of course, since this has happened in the last 24 hours, they didn't have anything definitive to tell us tonight. But they are working on it, and I'm hoping that I will have something for the board for the next meeting. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Susan?
As most of you know, when we made our trip there in June, the hotels and the restaurants were one of our major concerns with the lack of availability there. And on the documentation that they provided us, they shared that there are 1,100 hotel rooms. And I know that in the article, it states that there will be a lodge built for the workers. I don't believe that lodge is built yet, and yet they have employees there that are working. So I do have some concerns. And one of my major concerns, and it will be very interesting to see what the NAC is able to learn. This project did not just arise overnight. It's been in the works for several months, and it's now hit the news. I'm really disappointed that the individuals that we spoke with that are in power, Kim Peterson, the manager of the facility, as well as the other gentleman from the city that met with us at lunch on that day, had no mention of this project that was already in the works. And I feel like that was intentionally omitted from our meeting and sharing that information with us as representatives of ASCA. So I'm really concerned. Somebody please needs to mute. I'm not sure where. I'm really concerned about their willingness to be forthcoming with information that could determine whether we actually hold our event there in 2025 or not. So thank you, Liz, and thanks to the NAC, because I know they'll get the good information that we're going to need to be able to make this determination. And it's a concern that the contract has not been modified and resent for our signature from Mr. Peterson at the facility. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Jill?
Yeah, I'm glad that the NAC is on it. I also follow that IO group. I would also, they probably have already thought about this, Liz, but even RV rentals, you know, housing is housing is housing. And I've seen RVs used by construction companies before as well. So that would also, you know, lodging includes that. That would be someone I would reach out to as well. I think there's a bit of a red flag. I'm not a super reactionary person over something like this, but as to Susan's point, that wasn't really disclosed and it's been going on. And so I would highly advise looking for an alternate site.
Thank you, Jill. David?
This is Liz. Thanks, Jill, for that, because I had thought also about the RVs as somebody who used to inspect construction sites all the time. Yes, you're right. They do rent a whole of RV spots sometimes. So I'll make sure that I bring that up to the NAC. Thanks.
Thank you, Liz. David?
Yeah, I would be very cautious, having gone through a number of hurricanes and a lot of destruction in the area where large crews are brought in and they swear they're going to leave soon, but all the motels are tied up and there's no availability. So, you know, construction projects tend to lag behind whatever, especially mining. I used to work in mining. Things get lagged on. So I would be cautious.
Okay, thank you, David. Linda?
It's definitely a concern. We'll have to see what the NAC comes up with.
Okay, thank you, Linda. And this is the exact reason why I wanted to put this on tonight's agenda, because number one, I want the membership to know what's going on. Number two, I think the board there's consensus that the NAC needs to work on this and work on it now. I did speak with Laura this morning and she is on top of this. And I think we're moving in the right direction, but I think we're all leery and I think we have a right to be. So that will be more to follow. And the last topic tonight is last month's email business. I'll entertain a motion to accept that.
This is
Anybody?
Susan. I'll move to accept. This is Susan. I move to approve the email business from last month.
Thank you, Susan.
This is Ann. I'll second.
Thank you, Ann. So we have a motion by Susan and a second by Ann to approve last month's email business. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion passes. So that completes our list on the agenda today. I'm sorry that this has been a long drawn out meeting. There was a lot to discuss. Thank you to the members who are listening and will be listening to this. Please, if you have any feedback, get with Calla. We welcome your feedback on any of this because there's a lot of information that does affect our membership. So with that said, I'll say good night and we will be back in touch at our next meeting. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Good night.
Night.